Welcome back, Melnick in the afternoon on TSN690. Oh, the nerve of these guys. It's about a year ago when Reflector came out, and the single is about 8 minutes. If you thought Like a Rolling Stone was long. Win Butler, welcome to Melnick in the afternoon.
Thank you very much.
So the concept of a nearly 8-minute single, I'm curious what went into this thought.
I don't know. I mean, if you listen to Show'em every once in a while, they play a lot of like Pink Floyd songs that are super long, so we just thought it was normal.
Yeah, you're not on Show'em yet.
I know.
Okay, just checking.
You shouldn't be listening to Show'em right now because you wouldn't be hearing us.
I grew up, I'm a lot older than you, I grew up at a time when they used to play albums, entire albums on Show'em. That's what attracted a lot of us to Show'em way back in the day when you weren't even born.
I wasn't even born yet. But no, we still believe in albums, so we still try and make them. Yeah,
and it's a listening experience, right? It's the whole, again, I am the generation that it was from the cover to the artwork to the liner notes and to sitting there with a headphones on and putting aside an hour.
Yeah.
So you're asking a lot of your fans.
Well, I mean, I've always
in 2015, 2014.
Yeah, I don't think about it that way because I grew up listening to records, and I mean, records kind of helped change my life in a way that a single is great and everything. You hear a song, you get the sugar rush from a pop song, but I always kind of got a lot more from digging in and, getting into the world of an artist or whatever.
Right. How much of Bowie is in the 7 minutes and 42 seconds?
There's about a minute of Bowie in there. Yeah.
When you started being championed by people like Bowie and Springsteen and Ottawa Calls You Up and all that, what did that mean to you personally and to the group?
Well, I mean, one of our first shows in New York, David Byrne and Bowie both came to, so that kind of blew our minds. But it was also really early in our. It was like one of our first real shows in New York, and so we've been very fortunate in that, from U2 to Bruce Springsteen and a lot of these people that we've gotten to connect with, it's really about the music, and it's meeting people that are doing what you aspire to be doing. And so I never related to it as a weird celebrity thing, but it's more like meeting like a amazing professor, just someone who's kind of been through it. So yeah, we've been very fortunate in that way.
I would imagine a lot of young musicians and a lot of groups certainly look for a stamp of approval, maybe too strong a term, but you want that respect, right? You want that respect from people who've been through it and who have had the staying power.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people you can look to in rock and roll that have been able to kind of keep it going and keep it interesting. And, David Byrne, Bowie, Springsteen, and U2, I mean, those are like some of the people that, either had 20 or 30 years of just doing stuff that people cared about and think is worth checking in on. So that's the goal,
Are you decompressing after the tour?
Yeah, we just got off a year-long tour pretty much a week ago, so not quite decompressed, but yeah, we're kind of stretching out our limbs after being stuck in a tour bus for a long time.
And what was it like playing at finishing off Osheaga?
It was amazing playing in the park. I mean, it was really, really good vibe. Just one of the biggest crowds we played to on the tour. Just outside, people were super happy. It was really awesome. Really great show.
Win Butler of Arcade Fire. This will be the third time. Give us the history. It's part of Montreal Pop, which is underway this week. And it is the Rock versus Jock?
Pop versus Jock.
Pop versus Jock charity basketball game.
Yeah. So I played a lot of basketball growing up. I grew up in Houston, Texas, and it was kind of when Akeem Olajuwon, that was kind of my all-time hero, and the Rockets won a couple championships when I was like 14, 15. So, I played in high school, and then when I moved up to Montreal, I kind of started to get back into basketball again, and I always played in leagues run by this guy, Dexter Johns, who I might be wrong, but I think he's the all-time leading scorer at Concordia, or at least up there. And he runs all these basketball leagues, but he also runs all these after-school programs for kids in Little Burgundy, and it's just really like on the grassroots, like kind of for Montreal basketball, like anyone who's ever come out of Montreal who plays basketball is like played in Dexter's leagues, and so the kind of idea came to me to help him with fundraising. We started doing this basketball game, and I kind of grew up during the whole MTV Rock and Jock kind of thing, and so the idea for the game was to actually try and make a actually competitive basketball game. So the idea is that on the Jock team, it's half Concordia, half McGill current players, so Canadian college players, and then our team is musicians mixed with ex-NBA, or, you know, so we have a couple people on our team that are better than anyone on their team, but everyone on their team is better than everyone else on our team. So it actually, the first year we won by 2, the next year they hit a 3 at the buzzer to win, and we're actually like trying to beat each other. So it's like they're really competitive games for the most part compared to your average charity game that you go to.
And where are you playing? This is Saturday afternoon. The actual game is Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon at McGill at the basketball court at McGill.
Yeah, and I understand there will be something kind of special at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, we've the halftime show is the last one we did. We had David Byrne. We had a backing band with him. This year we have 8-Track and Kid Koala are 2 of the best DJs in the world, and I'm going to do a little something, and we'll have, you know, there's a lot of musicians participating in the event. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows who could be there? Who
knows who might show up? Go to Pop Montreal. Go to popmontreal.com. You get the whole schedule and details. It's a cheap ticket for this event.
It's a cheap ticket. It's a really good cause. You'd be crazy to miss it. It's super funny and fun and entertaining, and yeah, it's really great. And
Saturday night there's a party. There's an after party.
Yeah,
right?
Saturday night, me and James Murphy from LCD Sound System are DJing, which is also part of a fundraiser at the SAT. So yeah, either angle, and
that's big.
Yeah, they'll both be really great, really fun.
So like, is that what he's doing now? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best DJ I've ever seen. He's like a proper old school vinyl DJ, and just amazing. It's like going to the best. Yeah, he's DJ'd after a couple of our shows, and I'm not like a big club guy, but he's amazing.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy too, James Murphy. I mean, he had a plan that once he was 40, he's out of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right? Can you relate to that?
He got started later though than we did.
But can you see why he would do that, or you having such a blast you don't even want to contemplate that part of your life?
No, I mean, I never want to put out something that's not great. So I think we're kind of, this last tour we did is the best it's the best shows we ever played. So I feel like we're kind of right in our prime right now. So I'm not really thinking about retirement yet, because we're kind of like firing on all cylinders at this point.
No, I'm not asking you if you're thinking of retiring around the corner, but just the thought of a guy having a plan. Well, I love the rock and roll thing, but when I'm 40, I don't want to be on stage doing that. He had this plan, and
yeah, I mean, and that's totally his jam, and it makes total sense, and he did it perfect. Like his last show was at Madison Square Garden. Like, what do you want? It was like and I was at that show, and it was perfect, amazing show.
With Win Butler of Arcade Fire, it is the annual charity basketball tournament as part of Pop Montreal, and it's taking place this Saturday. PopMontreal.com is the website. Melnick in the afternoon. Mitch Melnick, Rod Francis, Mitch Gallo. Rod?
Hey, Win, you and the band, you guys have become such terrific ambassadors for Montreal and for Canada, and I wondered, for you, is there like a certain amount of time that has to be spent in a city for you to become like a Montrealer, for example, or is it more like a state of mind?
Well, I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere at this point in my life, and yeah, I've been around the world, and every time I come home, there's nowhere else I want to be. I mean, this city it's super cosmopolitan, but it's still cheap rent, and it has that magic quality that you kind of want in a city, and I love, I love the French and English, the whole mix of cultures, and there's it's a magical place. There's nowhere else like it in the world. It's really a special place.
Was it studies or music or both that brought you here?
Music brought me here, but I had to get a student visa to stay, so I started at Concordia, graduated from McGill. So I spent about a year and a half at Concordia and 2 years at McGill.
And what did you study?
My degree is in religious studies, actually, with a minor in Russian literature. So kids, stay in school. It's really important.
Just your typical rock star.
Yeah.
And is there
typical jock?
Yeah, that's so
jock stuff.
When you hit the court, and you again, for those who just joined us, you've been playing for years now, right?
Yeah.
Is it Thursday nights? When do you guys play?
That's private information.
Okay,
but yeah, I played. I'm from Houston, Texas. It's a pretty serious basketball town. Like, I played AAU in Houston. I was dunked on when I was 12. Like, I've seen 12-year-olds dunk. It's basketball down there is like, it's like hockey is here. It's like you see kids playing, and you're just like, wow, I will never be as good as these kids are now. But yeah, I love the sport, and I love the. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I never saw a big divide between being an athlete and being into music. I didn't, because I was in bands and played on the basketball team, and I didn't think it was that weird.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Okay, because we have this ongoing conversation. Gallo here, he's standing up right now.
Yeah.
About how many, especially well known through the years, musicians and actors are small.
Yeah.
Of stature. So you really
And I'm undersized. I'm really undersized for my
basketball,
position too.
Yeah. But in terms of rock and roll, there aren't too many through the years, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe like Billy Corgan's about my height. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's some famously tall musicians, but yeah, it's definitely not the norm. Yeah. But everyone in our band is tall. Richard in our band is taller than I am.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell from, especially if you're way back.
Yeah.
So, and he plays?
He's athletic. He doesn't play basketball so much, but he does plays a lot of squash.
Yeah. Win Butler of Arcade Fire in studio, wrapping up again the charity basketball game, and the charity again is for.
It's for Dexter Johns for the. It's for all the youth basketball programs, after school programs in Little Burgundy. It's really important work. It's great.
So are there some other well-known rock and rollers that names our listeners would recognize in terms of basketball, their ability to play basketball?
I mean, more in hip hop world. I mean, like the Beastie Boys. I've played with them before. I'm trying to think who else is. Actually. What's his name? The bass player from Pearl Jam, Jeff Ament. I've played with him before. He's very good. Yeah. Physical.
Right.
Yeah.
Figures.
Works out a lot.
Yeah.
But he's like maybe in his mid-late 40s, and he's still like banging, like playing hard. I played with him in Australia once. But it's on a very long list. I'm excited. Actually, I've played with some of the guys in the Strokes playing in the game. I've played with them in New York before. It's Justin Vernon from Bon Iver is playing in the game.
Oh, he's
this
playing
year.
on Saturday?
Yeah. He's kind of a 4 stocky power forward type.
Right.
I actually played basketball with him in Montreal. He lived here for a little while. He was dating a girl who was in Montreal, so we actually played together before we knew that each other played music years ago. So I'm excited to get him in the game.
It was kind of amusing to hear you talk about Montreal and refer to cheap rents.
Yeah,
which is true, relatively speaking, it's true. But it's not something you worry about now, is it? Personally,
I don't personally worry about it right now, but it's important to me that a city have like a vibrant art culture, and that's really an essential part. Being able to afford to live and have the time to actually do music and do art and make it be an essential part of your life. You can't just be hustling to pay the rent all the time. And so my friends have always been deadbeat artist types. So I'm more acutely aware of, I guess, the rent prices.
Yeah. Is there an equivalent here, do you know, of Montreal? Because, the art scene that exploded in Brooklyn, and of course the artists invariably get pushed. I mean, some of them have been pushed all the way to Philadelphia from New York. Does that happen here with the Plateau and Mile End, etc.?
Yeah, it definitely does. But I mean, you just, there's always parts of the city. It's like that's the artists. It's our job is to go find where it's cheap.
What are you doing next? You're going to, again, you got to decompress after a year-long tour, and you're enjoying fatherhood, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's amazing.
And beyond that, do you have anything else planned? You working on another album already, or you just, this is some downtime here?
It's some serious downtime. And usually the way it works is you just take time off and kind of, I'll play a lot of basketball, cook, just do normal domestic stuff. Then you start to get that little itch. You start to get a little bit bored and start, that the creativity starts to come to you. You have ideas for songs. It's kind of a natural process. But
do more and more people notice you, or is it a little more difficult to just kind of meld in here?
No, I mean, Montreal, most people who come up to me for a picture are not from Montreal. They're usually visiting from another city.
Is that right?
I mean, I'd love to keep it that way.
Yeah.
But compared to a lot of cities I'm in, I think Montrealers are pretty cool in that way. People might recognize you, but they're not going to really bother you.
Current favorite NBA player?
Current, that's a tough one. Favorite NBA player. He hasn't played in the last year, but I'm a big Rondo fan. I'm excited to see him kind of back at 100%. But I mean, currently, I really enjoyed watching the Spurs play last year. I'm friends with Matt Bonner, who's playing in our game, and knowing someone on a team, I was always ambivalent about the Spurs growing up in Houston.
Right.
But those last couple championships are some of the best basketball I've ever seen.
They're a classy team.
They're a classy team, and just the last year and this year are just two of the best best basketball I've ever seen played.
All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to record something live so we could replay it all week for the charity basketball tournament that's coming up. Charity basketball game as part of Pop Montreal. Go ahead, Win.
Hi, I'm Win Butler from Arcade Fire. Come join us at the McGill Gym at 2 o'clock. We're doing a Pop versus Jock charity basketball game. NBA players, some rock stars, and basketball, and tickets are going super fast, so go to popmontreal.com to get your tickets.
Saturday, September 20th.
Saturday, September 20th, that's right.
Thanks for coming in. Great meeting you.
Yeah, nice to meet
you
too.
Best.
Yeah, thank you.